You will never ever want to watch pornography ever again after hearing my story, because it goes a long way. This is years after struggling with pornography. This is years after struggling to quit watching pornography. It started back in high school when I was still maybe in grade 10, and I could hear my friends explaining how cool it is watching pornography and also doing all of those nasty things. And I was like, you know what, let me just try and see how it goes. And suddenly it never stopped, and I never hoped to live the life that I had to live after having to be exposed to pornography, because I started feeling guilty about myself and also what I did. It is not mainly about what I did after watching pornography. It was all about the shame that comes with having to do with what comes having to do what you need to do after watching pornography, because it leads us to different ways. Because that feeling, it is unmeasurable, cannot be matched by any feeling in this world. You start to feel like you own the whole world. You start to feel like the whole world can bow to you. You feel like everything is just under control after having to do what you normally do after watching pornography. As I've said, that it leads us to different ways. Some others, they do what we call masturbate. They pleasurize themselves, or even having to maybe make themselves feel better by maybe masturbation, or even blessing themselves with whatever they do. Some others, it leads them to doing some wrong things, like having to be in a sexual contact with another person. As I've said, that it leads us to different roads, and which you might regret at the end. For me, having to be exposed into pornography at such an early age, it led me to feel like I'm incomplete, I'm not capable of certain things, because I was still back in high school. I never had much experience when it comes to these things, and I just had it from back in our classroom. And when I got home, I was like, you know what, let me try and see what the other guys were just explaining in class and see how it goes. And it went into a point where it started to destroy my mental health. It started to destroy my sexual desires. Instead of having to be in a sexual contact with another person, I told myself that, you know what, I no longer need the next person to pleasure myself. I could do how I please, whenever I want to, wherever I want to. It even affected most of my relationships. The people that I've been in love with back in the days, I could see myself not having to beg whenever anything just goes wrong, because I knew what I'm capable of. I knew what I'm going to do to pleasure myself. And I've ruined a lot of relationships with that kind of mentality. And I'm saying to you, whoever is watching this video, pornography is going to destroy your whole life. And it's going to destroy many aspects of your life. And I'm here to advise you. This is a friendly advice, and I'm not forcing you to do things that you're not comfortable doing, but I feel like with the experience that I have, the next person mustn't go through the very same things that I had to go through. As I've said, that I've ruined most of my good relationships. I had been in love with a lot of amazing people in my life, and I can see what pornography did to me after being exposed to those nasty things, because I started to do certain things that I was not even ashamed of. I started to sneak out, having to pleasure myself wherever I could, whenever I could. And having to do that, it brought shame into my life. I felt guilty in most of my times whenever I'm doing those things, after doing those things. And I'm saying to you, whoever is going through the very same things that I went through, this is about time. This is a call for change. This is a call for transformation. You mustn't feel like you have failed in life. It's about time where we need to change our ways of doing things. It's about time where we need to correct what seems like it went wrong. It's about time where we correct our mistakes. We are human beings at the end of the day, and we're supposed to make mistakes. But having to repeat the very same mistakes that we have yet to learn the lessons the hard way, I feel like that's being a failure. And I'm not here to judge you. I'm just saying that it's about time where we need to change. I took that bold decision to say to myself that, you know what, now I want to grow, now I want to change, now I want to evolve. I need to become a better man. And part of becoming a better man is having to correct some of my mistakes, which comes with those hard lessons that I had to learn just by doing and also making those mistakes. It's about time where we need to become better and evolve, becoming the best possible versions of ourselves. And it starts from within. Change starts from within. It starts from your mind. Because if you can't convince your mind to think a certain way, it will be hard for you to actually quit pornography and whatever you're doing. It all starts in your mind. If you can't change how you think, you cannot change what you do. It all starts in your mind, your thoughts. Change how you think. Change what you consume. What you used to consume that led you to that feeling of having to pleasure yourself. It's about time where we need to change what we used to consume, what we see with our eyes, what we hear with our ears, how we allow our minds to operate. It's about time where we need to change our ways of thinking that will lead us to do what makes us proud. I'm at a point in my life, after years of struggling with pornography, I can proudly say that I'm happy that I took that bold decision to say I need to become a better man. Part of becoming a better man is having to change how I used to do things. It's having to transform from who I was to whom I am. The difference between who you are and also who you are meant to become lies on what you do each and every day of your life. If you do something repetitively so each and every day of your life, it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes a behavior. And it's not a fault that you behave a certain way. It's just how the mind operates. It leads us to different things that we're not even happy about. But it's about time where we need to take full control of whatever comes into our minds, how we think, how we do things. It's about time where we need to change our habits that will lead us to change our behaviors, and our behaviors will determine and dictate our destinies, which lies in our daily habits, our daily routines. It's about time where we need to quit these pornography things, because it is destroying our lives one way or another, not only physically so, also emotionally, also spiritually, because these things goes a long way. I believe like sexual activities, they are more spiritually than physical, because what you feel, it's something that you cannot touch. It all comes down to your spirit, it all comes down to your emotional intelligence, it all comes down to your gut feeling. And your gut feeling is connected to your higher self, which is every day, now and then, communicates with you through your gut feeling. But once your gut feeling is actually disturbed with those nasty things, you start to disturb your spiritual growth, your spiritual transformation. And I've seen this in so many ways. When I'm pure and I'm not into those things, I took some breaks. I can see myself having to evolve spiritually. I can see myself growing spiritually. I start to see things, I start to hear things. But once I'm into pornography and doing those nasty things, that's when all of this fades away. my clairvoyance ability starts to fade away, simply because I engage in activities that are not actually aligned with my spiritual self. This topic goes a long way. I can explain the whole day trying to explain how pornography can actually destroy a life, and it's about time I want to change. So I'm not sure if you did happen to find value in what I've shared with you on today's video, but if you did, please let me know in the comment section on what value have you picked out in this video. Also guys, for more life-changing information, there is an upcoming book, To the Leader in You by Duncan Emnesi, which is coming up this June, on the 30th of June. To pre-order the book, please click the very first link in the description. On that note, if you are new into this YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and press the notification bell so whenever I get to upload, you will be the first one to be notified. On that note, I'll see you guys on our next YouTube video. This is your boy Duncan Emnesi. I'll see you guys on the next one. Do not forget to subscribe.